No, people are entitled to their views, but the whole point is we're entitled to find their views ridiculous.
Of
and
course
what amazes
we are.
me, no, but what amazes me is that our society, we're entitled to attack politicians, we're entitled to make fun of sex, we're entitled to make fun of everything else. But the minute you suggest that the views of the Pope are absolutely silly, suddenly you're viewed as strident and inappropriate. And the point is there should be nothing that's sacred. Everything should be open to debate, including religion.
No one's disputing that as far
as... Raza Nadim, I come to you because you are scowling.
Yeah, because I disagree with everything he said so far, because...
Everything?
Yeah, most of what he said, because I stopped listening after a while, because it just didn't make sense. When he talks about we should, the news, Charlie Hebdo published whatever they wanted, that's rubbish. They were overtly racist towards Muslims. They were always lampooning Arabs and being overtly racist in most of their publications, and it smacks of hypocrisy because they were prepared, in the name of freedom of speech, to sack a journalist who wrote a column that they considered to be anti-Semitic. So how come there's a line there, but when it comes to Muslims, it doesn't matter, take it on the chin. Why are we treated differently from others?
Could I just answer that?
He was charged with a hate crime as well.
Sorry, it's really rich. There are 12 people dead.
Oh, please, no, don't try to use their deaths.
No.
Just don't. Please, don't try, because I just give you an example where they did... No, let me finish my point. The clear example where they don't care for freedom of speech.
Okay, on that
example,
Douglas will address that example. If he doesn't, we'll make him. And then I'll come back to you and ask you another question.
A dozen people were killed, and they're now being smeared as racists, like this gentleman here. And I think that's intolerable.
No, I did not...
He clearly knows nothing about Charlie Hebdo.
I just gave you an example.
Nothing about France, nothing about French traditions of free speech. Charlie Hebdo is a left-wing, anti-racist publication. It has lampooned and does lampoon everybody. In recent years, it has taken particular delight in lampooning. Most of the attacks on Charlie Hebdo, the non-physical attacks, have been from the Catholic Church, repeated attempts to criminalise Charlie Hebdo for what it says about the Pope. Marine Le Pen, the far-right wing leader, is one of the main targets of their satire. You don't understand anything.
I just gave you an example.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, and then thereafter we're going to spread the love, okay? As it were. Raza, I mean, Douglas touches on this. France has a long, some would say fantastic, certainly very proud tradition of vulgar and rude and anti-religious cartoons. Isn't it a cultural imposition for a minority to seek to change that?
Answer
that question.
In France, in 2006, a rapper was prosecuted for saying, "I want to urinate on Napoleon." So where's this, in believing in a person, we can offend whoever we want? It's rubbish. Muslims are being asked to believe in freedom of speech more than others are, because in France they're prepared to prosecute an individual on that basis. They've banned comedians that they consider to be anti-Semitic. Now, I'm saying it's right, if someone's being anti-Semitic, stop them. But when we're saying someone is being Islamophobic and anti-Muslim, we're saying, well, take it on the chin. Why are we treated differently?
If it's unacceptable, as many people feel it is, many people find it deeply offensive to see cartoons of the Muslim prophet Muhammad. Is there any way in which it is acceptable to poke fun at Islam?
If you want to poke fun, no one really cares. But the thing is, this isn't about poking fun.
We're not talking about cartoons. Is there any way...
Well, no, hang on. No, this wasn't about poking fun. This case is being painted as a freedom of speech issue, and it's clearly linked to the war on terror. If you look at the cartoon, the killers, what they say, we're part of Al-Qaeda. It wasn't a cartoon that riled them up. It was foreign policy and the war on terror. Why do you...
Let me take it to Majid Nawaz. Majid, of course, you tweeted one of the Jesus and Mo cartoons. Most people would say it was relatively innocuous. It was a divine figure saying hello to a prophet, and a prophet saying hello back again, basically. One of the other cartoons was slightly more...
Slightly less innocuous.
Yeah, less innocuous. That's the word.
The second point I'd like to make is that there is no right... yes, there is a right to be offended. There certainly is no right to tell others or insist that others do not offend you. They are two very different things. Everyone is free to take offence at anything. I mean, people could take offence at my dress sense. But what they cannot do is insist that I dress in a way that doesn't offend them. They are two very different things, and that's important when discussing cartoons. The second thing to distinguish is that every idea is open to scrutiny. No idea, whether it's a philosophy or a religion, is immune, or can be, or should be immune from scrutiny. That's different from hate speech.
But what,
Very much through the front door. Can I just quickly... there are some people speaking about who have clearly sort of mugged up on Charlie Hebdo in the last couple of days and drawn from this tragedy whatever they like. But you really should know more if you're going to speak about this.
And I have shown more about than you about this
You're
topic.
going to need to know more before you smear dead
I'm not smearing. I'm not
But let me just... One thing you may not be aware
ridiculous.
of. One thing you may not be aware of, but it's worth throwing into the discussion, is that there are laws on the continent, particularly to do with anti-Semitism and particularly to do with the Holocaust. And let me just explain, because you may again not know this, but the historical reasons for that. France has historical reasons to be incredibly sensitive of anti-Semitism in particular, because within people's living memory, tens of thousands of Jews were put on the trains and slaughtered. No, let me explain.
Well, we shouldn't be sensitive of it. There's a secret website called Google.
Let me finish the point I'm making. There are very specific reasons. There are very specific reasons. There are very specific reasons in France and Germany why some of those laws exist. But let me get back to the main point which you've been trying to divert us from. That's this. What is going on with this is an attempt not to make Islam be treated differently, not to making Charlie Hebdo. It wasn't to treat Islam differently or Muhammad. It was to treat Islam exactly the same way that secular free people have the right to talk about every religion. And this gentleman and others are trying through the front door, some people through the front door with Kalashnikovs and others through the back door with this kind of weasel talk. What they do is try to make one religion free from being able to be criticised, and it must be stopped.
Well, people that are so insensitive are with...